Have you ever, seen someone and instantly thought, wow, they're amazing.
Yeah.
But then, like, almost in the same breath, you think, oh, but they're way out of my league.
Totally.
Yeah, it's that feeling of unattainable, right?
It is.
Well, get this. Today's deep dive is all about tackling that feeling head on.
Interesting.
We're diving deep into a source that flips the script on what it means to be attractive and how to connect with people you're drawn to.
Cool.
Our source for this is an ebook by Andy Hodge called The Three Master Keys to Attracting Women Now.
Okay, so right off the bat, can we just clear the air about something?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
This isn't about some, cheesy pickup artist tactics, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That's a really important point. Hodge is very clear about that. This isn't about tricks or manipulation or disrespecting anyone.
Okay, good. I just wanted to, make sure we're all on the same page.
Absolutely. We're talking about genuine connection, not some, sleazy game.
Right, because at the end of the day, who wants to attract someone under false pretenses anyway?
Exactly. It's all about authenticity.
Okay, so if it's not about tricks, then what is this deep dive really all about?
It's about understanding how to be your best self and present that self in a way that makes genuine connection more likely to happen.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? What are we hoping our listeners will gain from exploring Hodge's framework?
Well, the ebook kind of breaks down how to develop 5 key areas, starting with what he calls a winning mindset, which is like the foundation for everything else.
Gotcha.
Then it moves into practical approaches for approaching people and making those first impressions count.
Makes sense.
And then it gets into the really interesting stuff,
Oh, like what?
like tapping into what he calls unconscious desires to create deeper resonance.
Unconscious desires. Sounds a bit mysterious.
It is. And then from there, it's about how to use language in a way that really captivates someone's attention.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
And all of this is about guiding their imagination toward, associating you with positive experiences.
So it's like kind of a step-by-step guide to becoming more attractive.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But more than just becoming attractive, it's about becoming someone who naturally attracts the kind of people you want to connect with.
And having a great time dating them.
Exactly. It's about setting yourself up for success in the dating world.
Okay, so there are a lot of moving parts here.
There are, but Hodge says that it all boils down to 3 interconnected pillars.
3 pillars. Interesting.
We're going to tackle these one by one, starting with the most fundamental one: developing a winning mindset.
Winning mindset. Okay, let's unpack that. What does that even mean in this context?
So at its core, it's this idea that your beliefs aren't just thoughts floating around in your head.
Oh, I see where this is going.
They actually shape your reality,
Okay.
especially when it comes to social situations.
You mean what I believe about myself will affect how I interact with others?
Exactly. Hodge argues that what you believe about yourself and about dating acts like a filter, influencing how you see and react to everything.
So, for example, if someone believes they're bad at meeting new people,
Yeah, exactly. He uses that exact example.
then they're probably going to approach social situations with hesitation and maybe even a little fear.
Totally. And then if things don't go perfectly, which, let's be real, that happens sometimes.
Of course, nobody's perfect.
Right. It just reinforces that initial negative belief. They think, see, I told you I was bad at this.
And even if something positive happens, they might just brush it off as luck or give all the credit to the other person.
They never actually internalize that success as evidence of their own abilities.
Right, so it's this self-fulfilling prophecy where their negative beliefs keep leading to negative experiences.
Exactly. But the Force also says that the opposite is true.
Oh, you mean if you shift those beliefs to more positive ones, you start having more positive experiences.
Exactly. It's like changing the filter through which you view the world.
So those new positive experiences then reinforce the new belief, and it becomes this upward spiral.
Precisely. You start filtering your reality to align with what you believe is possible.
Okay, that's pretty powerful stuff. So what kind of beliefs does Hodge suggest cultivating to create this winning mindset?
So he suggests several, but one that stood out to me is believing there's actually an abundance of interesting and attractive people out there.
Abundance, huh?
Yeah, more than you might even realize. It's about rejecting the scarcity mindset that makes people seem so unattainable in the first place.
Okay, that makes sense.
Another big one is genuinely believing you have a great personality and a lot to offer someone.
I like that one.
And shifting the focus from needing a specific outcome, like getting a date, to just having fun and connecting with people.
So it's more about enjoying the process than obsessing over the results.
Exactly. And of course, there's building genuine confidence in social situations.
It's funny when you think about it, if you genuinely believe there are tons of great people out there, it takes the pressure off any single interaction.
So true.
There's less desperation, less neediness, and more of a sense of, hey, if this doesn't work out, there are plenty more fish in the sea.
Right. You can be more discerning because you believe you have options.
Okay, so the takeaway here is to challenge those negative thoughts we all have around dating and replace them with these more empowering beliefs.
It's like rewriting the internal script.
I love it. Okay, so that's the winning mindset. What's the next pillar in Hodge's framework?
So the second key focuses on creating instant connections.
Instant connections. Now that sounds interesting. How do you just create a connection instantly?
Well, it starts with understanding a simple principle. People tend to like people who are like them.
Oh, like that whole birds of a feather thing.
Exactly. Hodge actually suggests that you think about people you connect with easily and look for the similarities,
Okay, I see.
not just in terms of shared interest, but also their mannerisms, their communication styles, those subtle things that create rapport.
Ah, so it's not just what you talk about, it's how you talk about it.
Precisely. And this leads to a concept called matching and mirroring.
I think I've heard of that. Isn't it like copying someone's body language?
Some people might think that, but it's more nuanced than just straight-up imitation.
Okay, good. Because straight up copying someone just sounds creepy.
Hodge is actually very clear about that. He cautions against being too obvious or mechanical with it.
It's more about subtly aligning your energy and communication style with theirs.
Yes, creating a subconscious feeling of connection.
So what are the things you're supposed to, like, subtly mirror?
He has a pretty comprehensive list, starting with the angle of their head, their spinal alignment, how they hold their body.
Wow, getting specific.
He also mentions things like their gestures and movements, but, don't mimic every little fidget.
Right, you wouldn't want to overdo it.
Then there's their breathing patterns, how fast or slow they talk, the tone and volume of their voice,
Interesting.
facial expressions, the kinds of words they use, even their blink rate,
Their blink rate. Seriously.
apparently.
Hmm.
But here's the key. This mirroring often happens naturally when we genuinely connect with someone.
Oh, so it's not like you have to consciously think about every little detail.
No, it's more about becoming aware of these subtle cues and letting it happen naturally.
And Hodge gives this great example called the smiling walk-up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Can you walk us through it?
So as you're approaching someone you want to talk to, you make eye contact, hold it a bit longer than usual, and as you're doing that, you let a genuine smile spread across your face.
Okay, pretty straightforward.
Right. And Hodge claims that if you do this authentically, you'll get a smile back from almost everyone.
Almost everyone. That's a bold claim.
It is, but think about it. A genuine smile is disarming and inviting. It creates an immediate positive connection.
And it probably helps to relax both people, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with practice, this kind of approach can become second nature.
Okay, so you've initiated this connection with a smile, maybe mirrored a few of their cues. What happens next?
Well, the idea is that once that rapport is established, they'll naturally start mirroring your gestures and movements in return.
It's like this unconscious dance of nonverbal communication.
Exactly. It strengthens that feeling of being on the same wavelength.
I love it. Okay, so we've covered cultivating a winning mindset and creating those instant connections. What's the third master key all about?
This is where things get even more interesting. It's about capturing and leading the imagination.
Capturing and leading the imagination sounds powerful.
It is. This is where language comes into play. The words you use, how you structure your communication, it can all evoke different emotions in people.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here.
Hodge gives this really clear example. Imagine you're talking to someone about, I don't know, trying a new experience or something.
Okay.
You could say something like, it's hard making conversation, and this is the most complex part of the system.
Kind of a downer, right?
Exactly. Or you could say something like, imagine just how good that would feel if you were doing it right now.
Oh, I get it. It's the same basic idea, but framed in a completely different way.
And that framing can have a huge impact on how the other person feels.
One is like, oh, this is hard. And the other is like, wow, this could be amazing.
Precisely. And Hodge says that with practice, you can even use language to shift someone's mood quite subtly.
Like from feeling happy to feeling more serious and then back again.
Yep, just through the way you use your words.
That's incredible.
It is. But he also makes a distinction between being really direct and being more nuanced in how you capture someone's imagination.
So, like, instead of coming on strong with, imagine wild, passionate sex with me,
Yeah, something like that might not go over so well in most situations.
definitely not a first date conversation starter.
Right. Instead, Hodge suggests guiding someone to talk about their own positive experiences
Mhm.
and then subtly associating those good feelings with you and the interaction you're having.
So it's like planting a seed in their mind without being too overt about it.
Exactly. It's about creating those positive associations indirectly.
Okay, so that's how you capture someone's imagination. What about leading it?
Well, a big part of that is actually being a good listener.
Listening. That seems kind of counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Hmm.
But Hodge emphasizes that the best conversationalists are often the best listeners.
I guess that makes sense.
They listen more than they talk.
Okay, so how do you become a good listener in a way that, like, leads the conversation?
Hodge breaks it down into what he calls the conversation loop.
Conversation loop. What's that?
It's a three-step process. First, you offer some piece of information. Then you invite a response from the other person, usually by asking a question.
Okay, so far so good.
And then, this is the key, you actively acknowledge their response before offering more information.
So it's like a back and forth building on each other's responses.
Exactly. And Hodge provides some practical examples of how to get this loop going.
Like what?
There's the nice dress example.
Yeah.
You start with a genuine compliment, like, that's a really nice dress. The color really suits you.
Simple but effective.
Right. Then you follow up with a question like, where did you find it?
And once they answer, you acknowledge their response and keep the conversation flowing.
Exactly. It's all about showing genuine interest and keeping that loop going.
I like it.
He even has a more, well, unconventional example, but it comes with a warning.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
It's the legs example.
Yeah.
Imagine approaching someone and saying something like, excuse me, I just had to say I noticed your legs. I think well-defined calf muscles look fantastic on a woman. Do you work out often?
Whoa, that's a bit bold, isn't it?
Yeah, and Hodge himself acknowledges that this could easily be misconstrued if not done very carefully.
Definitely depends on the context and how it's delivered.
Exactly. But it does illustrate the basic principle of the conversation loop.
Compliment, question, acknowledge, repeat.
Right. So the core idea of this third pillar is to blend that positive mindset we talked about with building rapport and then using language skillfully to create those positive associations.
Okay, so we've covered the three master keys: winning mindset, instant connections, and capturing and leading the imagination.
That's a lot to digest.
It is. But Hodge has one final piece of advice.
Oh, what's that?
He says, just go out and do it.
Makes sense.
He emphasizes that these are practical skills that you have to actually use in the real world.
It's not just about reading about it, it's about putting it into practice.
Exactly. So as you're thinking about everything we've discussed, imagine what would happen if you started consistently applying these ideas.
What if you approached every interaction with that winning mindset, focused on creating instant connections, and used language to capture and lead people's imagination?
It could really transform your dating life.
It could. And beyond that, think about how understanding these basic elements of human connection, the mindset, the rapport, the communication, how that could be valuable in all sorts of relationships.
Not just romantic ones, but friendships, work relationships, all of it.
Exactly. There's so much to be gained from understanding how we connect as humans.
Absolutely. This has been a fascinating deep dive. Thanks for sharing this with us.
My pleasure. Until next time.